Takeover Tour recap here on the Purple Rain podcast. I'm still exhausted after that last night. Do you know what I'm really finding interesting this season? Because this season we, the Purple Trio, have upped our coverage of PWHL and we watch more games than we've ever done before. On the nights when we are not watching our teams, watching someone else play, we still kind of had that feeling the next day of where, oh my god, I'm just so bloody exhausted. Because it's like, just because so much happened in that game. And this is one of those classic examples. I mean, it kind of felt like we were going to have, it's going to be 4 in a row on this tour alone that's going to go past regulation. It's like, it's just something in the water, the Takeover Tour. But it's like, oh, wow. Wow. And, boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, Casey O'Brien has finally arrived. Finally! Right? We've been waiting and wondering when she's going to make her mark, and she does it in this game. Finally. It's been quite a slow start for Casey, especially how the Sirens pretty much waited towards the end of your season to give her a contract. Yeah. And obviously you had Boston and their rookies literally wiped the floor. Roy Gear, they always also want to be watched as well. So you're wondering when's Casey going to break through? She does it in this game in Dallas. Ho-ho! Whoa. So still a little bit worse for wear because that was just like a thriller. I could not keep track. These two teams, I kind of feel, are going to be forming a rivalry whether they like it or not. But again, as you'll learn, Seattle, as you go about the league, every game is a rivalry just because of how competitive this league is. So, just better you learn that now than later on down the line. But, Seattle came so close to getting that first road win because obviously the Torrent were classed as the road teams. They were so close yet again. And interesting, this is only Seattle's second road game this season. Their first road game was in Vancouver, start of the season. And then after that, they've had a great, big, massive 5-game homestand, which in the PWHL, that's a luxury. That's a luxury to have a 5-game homestand. Especially when you only have 15 home games for now. And at least 2 of them get put on the Takeover Tour. So, Seattle's had 5 home games in 1 homestand. That is quite a luxury. That's quite a luxury. But it does also mean, Torrent fans, you're then going to have your team go on a massive road trip. It's just the way it works, okay? You have to try and balance schedule out at various points. Okay? So, yeah. But I feel what's interesting is how the Torrent have felt competitive in those 2 road games. And it was just like a couple of little tiny little things. If you cleaned up, then you might have got the win. And that's what's interesting so far as a trio. We've noticed that the Torrent's mistakes aren't so blatantly obvious to see than the Guardians are. So, I think we're starting to look at Seattle as the better of the 2 expansion teams, which we didn't probably would say that going into the season. Especially how Hammer has been very brilliant so far. I mean, leading up to this game, she's only let 1 goal in, so yeah, so I'll talk about that. But what a cracker. And the power plays. We knew special teams was going to be a huge factor in this, because obviously Seattle's been very good with their special teams, and New York have been crap with their special teams. Oh yeah, I'm cutthroat, just deal with it. Okay, so you did wonder, was that going to play a huge factor in it as well? But yeah, so there we go. Okay. I will say Dallas, not impressed with your crowd. Sorry, not impressed. 8,000. That's only just about a few more than Chicago. And this was the first stop on the tour where it's just one and done. No, I don't mean it like that. I don't mean it like that. No, you know what? No, I don't mean it like that. Oh, no. Hold on, I just dropped something. Oh, dear. Oh, dear. Go ahead. Sorry, just dropped something. No, I don't mean like that. You know what I mean. You know what I mean. Right, back. Sorry, just dropped something on the floor there. Oh, God. I know what you like, you dirty animals, a lot of cold showers. I'm giving you new nose in my Saturdays in January. Guess what's coming in January? Heated! Although for you Texans, you're probably not into that sort of stuff, so it's fine. We won't bore you with the details, but yeah, thank God I've got Sky Telly. Right, okay. Right, we'll get straight into the recap there, because it's all going up off piece. So O'Brien Hattrick leads New York to win over Seattle in Dallas. Third overall pick, Casey O'Brien scored her first 3 career goals to lead the New York Sirens to a 4-3 victory over the Seattle Torrent on Sunday night at American Airlines Center in the PWHL Takeover Tour, presented by BJ's Wholesale Club. The win came before a crowd of 8,514. I'm not impressed with that. I'll come back to that. Yes, that's what I was doing before I dropped something. That's what I was That's what I was meant to say before I ended up actually dropping something on the floor. That's what I was trying to talk about. The crowd. But I'll come back to you at the end. I'll come back to you at the end. Not impressed with that, Dallas. Not impressed with that at all, Victor. Tinsel Bear got more than that. Well, only by about 60 odd, but still. Anyway. Yeah. So the win came before a crowd of 8,514 in the first ever PHL game played in Dallas, and saw New York come from behind 3 different times to snap a 4-game losing streak. O'Brien was one of 5 different goal scorers to find the back of the net for the first time this season. Her first goal at 18:23 of the first period tied the game 1-1. Then her second on the power play at 30:01 of the middle of the second period tied the game 2-2. But rookie Maddie Wheeler made it 3-3 at 9:33 of the third period in kind of a redemption there, but that's what we'll get on. Paving the way for O'Brien's hat-trick goal on the power play at 16:40, which held as the game winner. Daniel Sadakny, Michaela Grant-Memphis scored person goals for Seattle at 5:33 and 19:28 respectively, and Lexi Adzila scored for the Torrent at 1:47 of the third period for the team's third go-ahead goal. Kaylee Osborne picked up the win with a season-high 30 saves against her former Colgate University teammate Hannah Murphy, who stopped 37 shots for the second straight game, suffering her first career loss. The Sirens will play a New Year's Eve matinee at home against Vancouver to wrap up 2025's calendar, while the Torrent will play another Takeover Tour game next Saturday against Toronto in Hamilton. Yeah, this was a fast, action-paced game. You blink and you miss. You go out the room to go and get a drink, you miss something. Okay, it was that such action pace. Interesting notes there. Kay Osborne has pretty much started every single game so far this season. And I'm wondering out there is contributing to the fact that York is literally where they are. Right. I know a lot of people are going to be thinking, well, if my team wins the World Cup for a third year in a row, that's going to be bad for the league. But I'll tell you what actually will be bad for the league. New York winning the goal plan for a third year in a row, because they're just not utilising these draft picks, okay? I mean, it's all very well the Sirens drafting the goods, but they are not finding the ways to make these draft picks work on the roster. So, if New York, for God's sake, if they win the goal plan again, I don't know. I don't know what I'm going to do. Because this draft class we've got coming in 2026 is one hell of a draft class. Okay? So, I just... it can't be York again. It cannot. It cannot! It just can't. Okay? Someone else needs to win that goal plan. Because these draft picks are just not gelling right now. They're just not. And the Sirens went all in on that draft we had back in June. But yeah, that's something I want to know. And also, yeah, Manny Wheeler. So, she took a penalty the third period, and then this is where it gets bizarre. She comes out of the box, but because her skates hadn't touched the ice, but her stick touched the puck, she goes back in and it gets called for interference. And we were watching the thing. We didn't get it. And I had to then basically go onto the game on my phone and look at what the penalty was. It was called interference penalty. I'm like, really? That's interference? The beautiful thing about this is every single day is a school day. You just learn something. You get to see so many firsts that you've never seen before in how many years of being involved with the men's side? 16, 17 now, depending on when this episode gets published. If it gets published in 25, it's 60 years. If it gets published in 2026, it's now 17 years. Yeah, so yeah, just learn something new every day, with the PHL kids, you learn something new every day, but it was like, So it's quite brilliant when she then got the tying goal, and literally, David Kowalski said the exact same thing that us were all thinking, redemption, he beat Pluto to it, so Pluto wanted to say, was like, no, got beat to it. But what a thrill out of a game, you know, I mean, because obviously I think, for the tournament now, I think us three, we looked at Dallas and think, Dallas? Like with Winnipeg, they was like, Winnipeg? But apparently Winnipeg's doing quite well with tickets, so, whereas Dallas, they're not. But, yeah, so I'm not too sure that you're going to look at Dallas movies as a contender expansion. I probably wouldn't at all. But, yeah, it's a bit, yeah. What's crazy is how loud this game, the crowd were, but the crowd wasn't really there at all. I mean, only 8,000 people, just... That is disappointing. I mean, 8,000. Especially when you compare that to literally Edmonton 24 hours prior, who got 10,000. It's just... The American cities are leggers down so far. They really are. Chicago only got 7,000 people. Dallas got 8,000 people. The American cities are leggers down. Again. Which is why I can't wait for when we have those return trips to Detroit and Denver, because we just know those two markets, they are not going to let the side down, particularly Denver. Okay, Denver have got 2 great games coming up for this year. We've got the Golden Knights and Torrent before the Olympics, and after the Olympics, got the Sirens and the Frost. So there'll be 2 great. I know Denver's not going to let me down. They're going to be fine. So yeah, so Denver, Detroit. In fact, the next first time American City will be Washington. That is, I believe, it's January the 18th. Yeah. So that's the next time we're going to have a first time American City host a Takeover Tour game. And that's going to be the Sirens as well. I believe that's the Big Trois they're going to be hosting for that game. That'll be exciting. Washington. Does have some women's hockey history there, but we'll talk about that when we get to that game in January. Right, but Steo, despite the crowd, Dallas was treated to a really high octane game. This easily could have gone to overtime, but didn't. Not one for try. I mean, Seattle did really well to push that extra attacker, and they did very well to keep that puck in the zone until it got to about the dying seconds when New York managed to get the clear. So the Sirens were not out of the woods until that clear. The Torrent really were pressing, which is good, which we want to see. Yeah, and that it was just so close. There's just a lot of chances in this game. It was just so high octane, so many different. It was like blink and you miss. I mean, literally, we had a couple goals come not long after one another. It was just like you dare not leave the room until a breaking play, because times like you go out there, you're gonna miss something. It was just so high octane. It was just like thriller, and yeah, just brilliant. And I just feel that these 2 teams, they are starting now to become a rivalry. And I think largely the fact that that first game in Seattle, when it ended, just brilliant. Yeah. But these 2 teams, they love taking majors against one another, because obviously York took the major in that first game, and then Seattle just won in this game. That was a horrible hit, and us 3, we all just straight away thought, yep, she's gone. That's it, done for the night. It's a major. So well done for us by like that. Right, so we're going to move on. We'll go to the quotes now, and who are we starting with first? Yeah, we're starting with New York, and of course, Casey O'Brien. So here's what she had to say on the chemistry of her line mates that resulted in her 3-goal game. We've been putting in a lot of work in practice and video, focusing on the little things. It's been frustrating at times when the results weren't there, but tonight felt like the payoff. Every goal came from everyone doing the small details that start in the D-zone, even when they don't always get noticed. I'm really proud of the group and how we pulled out the win. It was a hard-fought game with plenty of ups and downs, but our third period showed what we're capable of when we stay committed. Now let's hear from Sirens head coach Greg Fargo on the ups and downs of the game. I thought there were some moments where we had to respond in the right way. We got down a couple times throughout the game. The back-to-back penalties there in the third to come out of that, and thought we got to earn herself a breakaway in that play. I thought that was really a pivotal moment of the game. It changed momentum for us, but as Casey said, I'm really proud of our effort all the way through. I think we stuck to our game plan, stuck to play a strong 60 minutes, so good to get the reward of at the end. Moving on to Seattle now, we're going to start with their captain Harry Knight on the Torrent Sirens PWHL Takeover Tour experience in Dallas. To be able to have that exposure for young fans who get to see us out there and play right in front of their eyes is pretty special. I know the community embraced us really well, and it was exciting to have our player Hannah Bilker from the area to bring professional women's hockey to Dallas in front of a home crowd to watch her play at the highest level. And to be honest, got Torrent head coach Steve Rook on Lexi Azila and Michaela Grant Mentis, first goals of the season and open performance of the third line. They're certainly building momentum. Each game they've had great opportunities to score goals, and they just keep churning and building that momentum. And tonight they got rewarded for it. It's good to see. Right, let's finish off the notables. This was the 4th of 16 games in the 2025-26 PWHL Takeover Tour, and so far each had been decided by 1 goal, with the previous 3 going to extra time. So yeah, so we're already a quarter of the way done in the Takeover Tour this year. So the first quarter's done already. It's been an interesting first quarter, hasn't it? Both on the ice and also in the stands. Yeah. Not letting that go, Chicago. Not letting that go. New York has now outshot their opponent in all 8 games this season and have produced 3 of the league's 4 highest single game shot counts of 40 or more. Seattle entered tonight's action with just 5 different goal scorers, fewest in the PHL, before getting goals from 3 different players. Casey O'Brien is the first rookie and third skater to record a hat-trick this season, and the first player in PHL history to score a hat-trick in a Takeover Tour game. He's also the first player in the PHL to score 2 power play goals in a single game this season. This marks her first career points streak and puts her tied for second in rookie scoring with 55 points in 8 games after winning the 2025 Paddy Kazmaier Memorial Award and leading the NCAA with 88 points in 41 games with Wisconsin. Maddie Wheeler's first career goal came in her 8th career game and on her 21st shot of the season. Sirens' 4th round pick began her career with 3 assists in her debut and now has her first career point streak following an assist last week against Toronto. Jay Bourbonnais became the first defender this season to record a 3-point performance with a career high 3 assists tonight. Sirens' alternate captain had 4 previous 2-point efforts and just 1 during the 24-25 campaign. She finished with 7 points in 30 games. Kate Osborne remains the only goaltender to play in all of her team's games so far this season. As a rookie 24-25, she faced 30 or more shots in 4 of her 10 appearances. I find this a bit concerning with the Sirens here, only doing that. I mean, I know the Sirens have always been a team where you look at them and think, who's their backstop? It's great you've got a starter, but who is your backstop that you can rely on if you need to be? I'm a bit concerned about that. Now, I do not think for 1 second she's going to go 30 games for first for 30. I'm not seeing that, but it does then start to wear a bit, and you can okay, that's where the side's been going wrong. Yeah, not sure about that. Anyway, we'll carry on. Michaela Grant Mentis recorded her first multi-point performance of the season and 4th of her career, and has 3 points in her last 3 games following an assist on December 21 against Boston. The Torrent forward last scored both a goal and assist in a game with Montreal on January the 8th, while the last of 3 goals scored in 24-25 also beat Osborne on February the 15th. Danielle Sadakny's first goal of the season was scored against her former Colgate University goaltender. It was her second point of the campaign after recording an assist in Seattle's season opener. As a rookie last season with Aura, the 2024 second overall pick, scored twice with her tallies coming in her first and 8th game. Lexi Adida's first goal is also her first point of the season as a member of the Torrent. She scored twice last season in 29 games with Boston. The first one scored in her 32nd game. Megan Carter picked up her second assist in 4 games with a primary helper on the game's opening goal by Sadakny. The Torrent defenders' 2 points are tied for the team lead among regards. There's that word again. And surpasses the 1 assist she tallied in 19 games as a rookie last season with Toronto. Natalie Snodgrass recorded her first point in 6 games as a member of the Torrent with a primary assist on the Grant Mentis goal. She had 1 assist and 2 points in 21 games in her second season with Aura in 24-25, with both coming in the final 3 games of this campaign. Harry Knight has recorded an assist in consecutive games for the second time this season. The Torrent captain, 6 helpers, lead the team and ranks second in the PWHL. Lindy Lobdell picked up her first career PWHL point with an assist in her 4th game. She was selected by the Torrent in the 5th round of the 2025 PWHL draft after finishing her Penn State tenure with a career high 17 assists and 21 points in 38 games, 24-25. El Hartley had her first assist since recording 2 in the Sirens season opener and is now halfway to the 6 helpers she produced in 27 games as a rookie in 24-25. Peyton Levi, second assist and 4th point of the season, brings her halfway to her 24-25 season total of 8 points in 30 games. Sarah Billier has her first point streak of the season with 1 assist in consecutive games. The 2025 PWHL Rookie of the Year and co-scoring leader had 4 different point streaks last season, including 2 6-game stretches. Kristen O'Neill picked up her first assist and second point as a member of the Sirens. She also led all skaters with a season-high 6 shots on goal. Taylor Gerard collected her first assist of the season and has her first career point streak. The New York forwards streak follows a 5-game point drought after her season opening hat-trick. Murphy allowed multiple goals against for the first time in her PWHL career, with tonight's 4 goals exceeding the 3 she surrendered across her first 3 career starts and wins. The Torrent second round pick became the first goaltender this season to record an assist, having previously tallied 3 helpers during her college career. Alex Carpenter took a game-high 28 faceoffs for the 3rd time this season and had a game-high 19 wins at the dot. The Torrent alternate captain leads all PWHL defenders with 170 faceoffs and is the first to surpass 100 faceoff wins this season. Jenna Buglani was scratched for the Torrent lineup for the 2nd straight game and is day-to-day with an upper body injury. The first ever PHL game in Texas was a homecoming for Torrent forward Hannah Bilker and Sirens defender Alison Simpson. I will finish the 3 stars of the game. The third star, Michaela Grant Mentis from Seattle. The second star, Maddie Wheeler from New York. And no surprise to the first star is Casey O'Brien from New York. Upcoming schedules for these 2 teams for New York. Wednesday, December 31. Versus Vancouver. That is 1 p.m. Eastern, 10 a.m. Pacific. For Seattle, Saturday, January the 3rd at Toronto in Hamilton at 2 p.m. Eastern, 11 a.m. Pacific. And also, that's the first double header of Takeover Tour. Okay, so I just need to double check who is the next one. Is it for our sign off in a moment? Just do that now, real quick. So Hamilton will start first, then Detroit. Right, got that. So Detroit is 7 p.m. Eastern that night. We're sadly not going to be able to watch Hamilton live because that's 2 p.m. Eastern, and we will be in Ottawa at 1 p.m. Eastern. So sadly, we can't watch Hamilton live. We'll try and see if we can put it on a delay and maybe watch it after the Detroit game, or depending on when. Yeah, because 1 p.m. Eastern, the UK is 6 p.m. 7 p.m. is midnight. So we'll try and see if after our game we can watch it on a delay. Yeah, I know that the next 2 Takeover Tour game days also clash with a game for Al Frost, so we'll just try and work around. And Hamilton, of course, I will keep an eye on that because they seem to be pulling out all the stops, Hamilton. So we'll see how that goes. Yeah. So let's just come back to Dallas to go full circle. Right. The crowd really, I'm sorry, 8,000. Seriously, come on. Because I'm not convinced that Dallas right now would be in the mix for expansion team. I just don't feel that. But who knows? Maybe one day down the line, they could be. I know I've been saying we want some more central time zone teams, and from that I've been looking for more Chicago. Maybe Dallas could be, and then that might instoke that Dallas Minnesota rivalry the NHL supposed to have, but doesn't have. So, despite the fact they've met in the past quite a few handful of times, over the NHL. But anyway, yeah. So I just felt the crowd just didn't. Given how we had a very good crowd in Edmonton the night before, and I still would have said that, even if somebody else had played Edmonton instead of the Frost, I still would have felt that. Okay, we had a good crowd Edmonton. We should be building on that in Dallas, and I don't know. I honestly don't know what to think about that. I just don't. On the one hand, yes, it's better than Chicago did, but you're in the same category as Buffalo, St. Louis, and even Pittsburgh. If we go all the way back to season 1, when Pittsburgh was on the Takeover weekend, we go far back to that. It's still not great. Okay, it's just not. So, yeah. But despite the crowd, we had a really high octane, energetic contest, which just like, woo! I mean, you could not dare leave the room. Because if you did, you were going to miss something. So, it was a really exciting game, a thriller to watch from start to finish. Yeah, so great. These two teams are forming a very unlikely rivalry. And you know what? It's going to continue on the tour because these two teams are going to meet again on the Takeover Tour. They're going to be in Chicago, so that's last chance saloon for Illinois. If you really want to get a team, I would treat this as a last chance saloon because you did crap in before Christmas when the Frost and Charge came. You did crap then. So if you really want to build your case for expansion team, you're gonna have to go all the stops. When the Torrent Sirens come in March, I believe that is the 25th of March. Think. God, at the end of March, it gets very, very hectic because there's like 3 Takeover Tour games in the span of a week. So that's gonna be really an exhausting week for me on the podcast. Yeah, I think there's 3 in the space of 1 week, and that's when that one will be. It's Winnipeg, Chicago, and I can't remember what the other one is. I know it's not Calgary because that is in April. I forgot. See, there's so many dates on the tour this year. I'm literally going. Yeah, but towards the end of March, there's a week where there's 3 in one week. So it's Winnipeg, Chicago. There's one other. Can't remember. Yeah, but a game. What an impressive game that was. Just wow, so high octane. And these two, it felt like a playoff game. I know that's what the Sirens don't have an experience with, but it just kind of felt like a playoff game. It kind of felt like a game 5 of a World Cup series. It really did. So it was just a thrill to watch. It was just such a thrill to watch. So the next stop, it's the first of 2 double headers. Oh yeah, we kick off the first 2 weekends in January with double headers. So January the 3rd and then January the 11th, there are 2 Takeover Tour games happening on the same day. So we have Hamilton first. That is going to be the Seattle Torrents' next game and their second Takeover Tour game. So we've got Seattle and Toronto first going to Hamilton. Now that's going to be really exciting because I know nothing about Hamilton. The only Hamilton I'm aware of is Alexander Hamilton. So I will apologise in advance now to Torrent and Scepters fans if I do a lot of Hamilton quotes, okay? Just bear with, okay? Just brace yourselves for that, alright? Just brace yourselves for it, okay? I might be doing a lot of those. So that's the next. So that's like the matinee Takeover Tour game. And then the evening Takeover Tour game is in Detroit. It's the first of 2 at Detroit. Maybe that's the other one in the end of March. Anyway, we have the Golden Eyes and we have the Fleet going head to head in that one. That's going to be Boston's first time back in Detroit since the Takeover weekend in the inaugural season, which of course Boston did win that in a shootout. That was against Ottawa in the inaugural season. That's what this tour was supposed to say. Takeover weekend. So that'll be like that. So Hamilton's first. That could be 2 p.m. Eastern, and then Detroit will be 7 p.m. Eastern. Like I said, Hamilton, for the Purple Trio, we're gonna probably have to watch that on a delay because we are in Ottawa on that day, and that is 1 p.m. Eastern. So that's 6 o'clock in the evening here in the UK, our time. So that game should be finished by 9 o'clock. So we could technically still get Hamilton watching on a delay before we then have to then head over to Detroit, but we'll see how that goes. If not, we'll just get the replay. It's fine. Yeah. And then of course, W11 will be the exact same scenario. There's gonna be 2 Takeover Tour games on that day, and there's also going to be a Frost game on that day. That's the home game for the Frost. I'll need to check the time for that. I think for W11, it's return trips to Halifax and Quebec. So I think I'm going to see if we can get the Quebec one, because we've already seen Halifax. We're not bothered to watch that again live. Yeah, so January the 3rd. So Hamilton will be the next recap episode, and then Detroit. I want to try and do it in the order that they are being played. So Hamilton will be recorded next, and then Detroit will be done afterwards. Might see if we can publish them both on the same day. Seeing as how they're both happening on the same day, we may as well try to publish in the same recording block. We'll see how that goes. Yeah. It's only twice on the tour that this scenario is happening, okay? When you schedule 16, you've got to try and work out where you can put these in, okay? So, yeah, but really pleased with that performance that we saw in Dallas. That was a great game. So next up, it's Hamilton on January the 3rd, and Detroit also on January the 3rd. Hamilton will be first. We'll have the Torrent and Scepters. That'll be very exciting game, especially because obviously it's Ontario, and we all know how well that province has done so far with the Sets in charge. And then later on in the day, we'll have Detroit with the Golden Eyes and Fleet, and I've got no doubt that's going to be just a sellout, because obviously we know Detroit really wants to get PWHL hockey, but you haven't got the bloody arenas! We've had enough. As a trio, we've had enough. I will talk about more about it next when we get to Detroit, but we've just had enough of Detroit being given a part of this, because yes, you're a market that's ready to go, but you've not got the infrastructure. So we've just kind of feel like we've had enough now of Detroit. We really have. Just give somebody else another go. So a really high octane thriller for Dallas. So that was a really great game to watch. So thank you, Dallas. And next up, Hamilton.